This is the ACC on ESPN, and this is the first installment of this outstanding rivalry between North Carolina and Duke. So close in proximity, such a tough ticket. The students here in Chapel Hill have been out for a couple of days waiting to get in to see two of the top players in the country, Cameron Boozer of Duke and another fabulous freshman, Caleb Wilson of North Carolina. It's the Blue Devils and the Tar Heels, round one. The best rivalry in college basketball.
He lets it fly. Oh, Ram Jam slam. Bam. He's tough. He's clawing.
All you have to do is say Duke, Carolina, and everybody understands it.
Trust me, we not one and the same. I'm one in a million. Yeah, I do it for the team.
And now we get a chance to see Cameron Boozer against Caleb Wilson.
Cold-blooded. Watch your head. Caleb Wilson has arrived. Boozer, put it on a poster.
Duke, Carolina always delivers.
Blue Bloods in every way in the best rivalry in college basketball. 20,000 strong, 20,000 loud here inside the Smith Center right now for the first of two regular season meetings between the Blue Devils and the Tar Heels. There is virtually nothing to separate these two programs. The last 50 years, national championships, dead even. Final Fours, dead even. Even in the last 120 matchups, dead even. 60 apiece, even geographically. There is barely anything to separate the two as the crow flies. The Smith Center and Cameron Indoor are separated by just under 9 miles. It never gets old. It always feels big. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, he played in it. He lived it. It was special then. It's just as special now.
And it's a higher degree of special than most other rivalries. All rivalries are the same to the participants, but Duke Carolina resonates beyond the footprint of these two institutions and beyond the footprint of the ACC. There's been excellence, and it's sustained excellence by both programs. But there's one thing, all you have to do is say Duke Carolina and everybody gets it.
Yep.
It always delivers, and we expect it to deliver again tonight.
And you can hear how the fans feel about it here in Chapel Hill. They're both in the top 15, and they've both got tremendously talented players, including two of the best freshmen, two of the best players in the country.
Well, starting with Duke's Cameron Boozer, he is averaging 23 points per game. That is tops in the ACC. He's the leading candidate right now for National Player of the Year. He's got size, he's got skill, he can knock down a three, and he requires a double team when he gets near the paint. And he handles those double teams very, very well with his processing skills, and he is an excellent passer.
And on the other side for North Carolina, a guy who, as good as he is, and considering where he plays, Jay, may not be getting quite enough attention.
He is not getting enough attention. Caleb Wilson is every bit as productive as Cameron Boozer is as his counterpart. He has 11 double-doubles on the season, 16 games of 20 or more points. In his last 4 games, he's averaging about 22 points, shooting just under 60% from the field. He is explosive. He is quick off the floor, an amazing second jump, and incredibly instinctive. He is a competitor, also an outstanding passer, and a great teammate.
Carolina has won 4 in a row. They're 3-1 against ranked opponents this year. They've got some impressive wins. They've beaten Kansas here and road wins over Kentucky and Virginia. But boy, would this be a big one if they can find a way to beat the 4th-ranked team in the nation, the Duke Blue Devils. Chris Budden has returned from the Australian Open and is back with us here in Chapel Hill.
What a good one to come to. I spoke with Caleb Wilson yesterday, and he likes to come in with every game with a little piece of motivation, just an extra chip for him. For this game, it wasn't hard to find one, and not just because of the rivalry, but because of the way he was recruited. He told ESPN's Anscape, quote, "Duke offered me, and they just stopped talking to me." And you know how coaches keep in contact with you? They never kept it going. You think about all the other guys recruited over me, all the other guys you recruited,
Chris, thank you. As Wilson revealed on game day this morning, you were there, Jay, he's got various screensavers on his phone he uses for motivation as well. He is a very motivated, very talented young man with an endless motor.
And that motor revs all the time, and he makes so many great recoveries. If he's ever out of position, he's got tremendous hands, can knock the ball away, get steals, as does Cameron Boozer. They both lead their team in steals.
This place is shaking right now. It is time to go. Round one between Carolina and Duke, and the visiting Blue Devils win the tip. And it is Wilson, Jay, starting out on Boozer. Isaiah Evans, deep range. Caleb Foster swings it. Dame Sarr with a corner three.
Boy, Carolina came at Cameron Boozer with a double, and he passed out of it so quickly that reversal got the wide open shot for Sarr in the corner.
Freshman Derek Dixon making his 6th consecutive start after coming off the bench the first 17 games of the season. Seth Trimble up and in with the left.
Well, Seth Trimble is the engine for the transition of the Tar Heels, and an outstanding defender. He's going to be putting pressure on Caleb Foster at the point to start this game.
You see that wrap on his left arm, fractured his forearm earlier in the season, missed 9 games, but has been back for a while and playing extremely well.
And Jaron Stevenson starting this game. He's on Isaiah Evans to give that extra size.
And Evans draws an early foul on Stevenson. John Shire in his 4th year as the head coach at his alma mater, 110 wins, only 23 losses, a trip to the Final Four a year ago, and you can see 5-2. That's as a head coach against North Carolina, 3-5 as a player against the Heels. Evans always seems, Jay, to be an X factor. He's been a little inconsistent with his shooting this year, but on any given night, he can put up 25 points.
Well, his last 4 games, he's averaging 17 points a game in ACC play, and he's had 17 double-figure games on the season, but just 5 of 24 from 3 in his last 4. Still, he's incredibly dangerous in catch-and-shoot situations.
He is their 2nd leading scorer as he knocks down both free throws.
Dame Sarr with his length and athleticism guarding Derek Dixon out front. Dixon's 6'5". He's low error in his last 5 games as a starter. He's done a really good job at the point.
And I beg your pardon, on that earlier Sarr shot, it was a 2, not a 3, so it is 4-2 Duke. Henry Vessar misses a corner 3. If you haven't seen a lot of Carolina, that is not out of the ordinary for him to be taking threes. Whoa. Boozer airmails it. Vessar is shooting 46% from 3. He's a real weapon, Jay, inside and outside.
Well, he's made 28 threes on the season, and that 46% from 3 mark leads North Carolina. He doesn't make a ton of them, but you have to go out and respect that shot.
Here's Wilson, his first touch, jumper over Boozer, too strong, out of bounds, still Carolina ball. As we get our first look of the night at Hubert Davis, the 5th-year head coach at his alma mater. He is 4-6 as a head coach against Duke, 6-5 as a player. Both of these coaches, as players, longtime assistants, and now head coaches, they know about as much about this rivalry as anybody.
Well, Seth Trimble able to get downhill off that ball screen from Caleb Wilson, and when Wilson sets a screen, he is going to just roll down the lane, and he can play in a short roll because he's a good passer, good playmaker.
So Trimble to the line. He is the only member of the Tar Heels who has played in this rivalry. 3 other Carolina players have played against Duke, but it wasn't as a member of the Tar Heels. Meanwhile, Duke has 5 players who have played in this rivalry. Trimble just a winning player, helps his team in so many ways, splits a pair.
Oh, great defender. Well, he was so good in that win against Kansas early in the season before he broke that forearm.
And a hold inside is called on Carolina's Derek Dixon.
Caleb Foster looked like he was going to set a screen, slipped out of it. And just a peel switch with Dixon just making too much contact.
Crowd just got to look at the replay and predictably didn't like the call here in Chapel Hill. Patrick Gungba, a big step forward for him this year from his freshman season. Evans can't get the shot off over the length of Stevenson. Now he can. Gungba with a rebound and a putback.
Boy, Pat Gungba is having a terrific season. Just wedged Henry Visar under the basket a bit and held his position to get that offensive board. Well positioned. Boy, Carolina really needs to set good screens in this game to play out of it.
Stevenson kicks it to Wilson. Boozer on him again. Former AAU teammates from the summer of 24. Good look for Dixon. Around and out, and a battle for the rebound is won by Duke.
Boy, that was a nice shot fake by Vesar to get Patrick Gungba off of the floor.
Good defense by Trimble. Now Foster gets by him. Dumps it down for Gungba, and a nice feed for another deuce.
Just a beautiful cut as Vesar had to help. Gungba just cut right to the rim to get that pass.
Carolina 18-4 on the season, 6-3 in league play. Duke is 21-1 as Trimble floats it up and in. The only Blue Devils loss was a 1-point game in New York, Madison Square Garden, against Texas Tech in a game in which you and I were there, Jerry. They led by 18. They are that close to being undefeated. Gungba with a nice feed. Foster gets back his miss and puts it in.
Boy, what a play by Caleb Foster to get that through contact over Henry Vesar.
How many times have you and I heard John Shire say his bigs are his best passers? They run a lot of offense through Gungba and Boozer. Trimble, no.
This game is going to be decided in the paint. Can you get into the opponent's paint, and can you protect yours?
Good pace in the early going. Duke with the ball and a 5-point lead just over 4 minutes in. Evans trying to shake Stevenson, drives him and lays it in.
Patrick Gungba did a terrific job of shielding off Henry Vesar so he could not block or try to change that shot. Vesar did that to Duke just on the last possession on that screen and roll in the middle of the floor.
Wilson looking to get going. Trimble's got all 5 in the early going for Carolina. Stevenson, the Chapel Hill native, Alabama transfer. Dixon, a contested 18-footer, won't go.
Boy, Duke really did a nice job of guarding the ball there. Wouldn't let North Carolina turn the corner on 3 successive drives.
Carolina would love to get out in transition, but they have been unable to do so thus far.
Yeah, you got to get a stop to get out in transition. Good cut.
Another great feed. Gungba finds Sarr, and it's a timeout for Hubert Davis early here in Chapel Hill. A great start on the road for the Blue Devils, Jay, and they are executing beautifully at the offensive end.
Yeah, in the half court. Looks like you're going to set a little back screen and fade, and instead a slip to the basket and an easy bucket.
Great start, Duke, here in Chapel Hill in the first of this rivalry this year. Chris Budden has more on all of the connections and closeness between these two programs.
You've illustrated it with words. I wanted to do it with some posters and the assist from RJ. Tobacco Road rivalry. Let's get to the first one. National championships where North Carolina has the edge 6-5. How about Final Four appearances? North Carolina also with the edge 21-18. Head to head, North Carolina 145-120. And then finally, the 88th ranked matchup, 47 more than any other matchups, just for some perspective, guys.
So more than twice as many ranked matchups as any other rivalry in the country. You know the other great thing about this rivalry, they've been in the same conference. They've been in the same conference as one another for the last 98 years, back to the inception of the ACC, and then for decades before that, Jay, in the Southern Conference. I know you and I both agree this is the best rivalry in college basketball.
I think it's the best rivalry in sports, frankly, with the success these two programs have had. It's been amazingly close. I mean, the last 120 times they've played, it's 60-60. I mean, it's like we're making that up.
With a handful of points, total points separating one another. Luka Bogovac in off the bench, misses a three. Henry Vesar went up for the rebound, saying he got held, I believe.
And I think he's right.
Got
He's
pushed.
saying he got pushed by Cameron Boozer. Now they're going to take a look.
Duke is going to use a challenge. So the ball was awarded to Carolina, and John Shire will use a coach's challenge early in
Previous
this game.
out of bounds is under review.
So obviously somebody in the second row seats, somebody on the bench there on the Duke side of the court said, hey, they think this should be Duke ball, and John Shire feels it's worth a challenge.
And all they can do is look at which player it went out off of. And in the NBA, they have what's called the proximate foul rule. So they could take a look at that push foul, and it looked like it did touch Vesar last. So this is going to be overruled.
Yeah, this should be a fairly quick one over to Duke.
After review, the call on the floor will be reversed. Duke's challenge is successful. They will have one challenge remaining for the game. Get their timeout back.
Lead official Ron Groover with the information. So now they have one challenge remaining. If you use your first and it's successful, you get one more. They don't lose a timeout either. So this early in the game, teams want to be pretty sure about it, but that was kind of an easy call once we saw the video.
So far, Duke is having its way in the paint. They have kept the floor spread. And Duke has this lead right now, 14-5, and Cam Boozer has not yet scored in this game.
Hayden Boozer in off the bench, as is Malik Brown with the ball right now. Duke, a 9-man rotation. Here's Evans off a screen, and he knocks it down, and the lead is 11.
Luka Bogovac was guarding Isaiah Evans, and Evans went right through his body to get that open shot. Duke is doing a good job of keeping the floor spread. And then after getting the ball to Boozer, Brown sets a good screen. And then Isaiah Evans fights his way through it over Bogovac.
With Malik Brown into the game now for the Blue Devils, he has drawn the assignment of Caleb Wilson. Cameron Boozer was on him in the opening minutes of the game. Bogovac from Montenegro floats it up, but around and out. Carolina can't buy one, and why has Caleb Wilson hardly gotten any touches in this game?
Well, he's not moving right now. He's got to be more active moving. He's done everything after the catch instead of before.
Boozer, a bounce pass into Sarr. Brown inside, up and in with the left, and Duke getting shot after shot right around the rim.
And delivered a shot there. Malik Brown just went right into the chest of Henry Vesar and just knocked him back. Vesar down right now, trying to catch his breath.
Now up and off to the bench as Stevenson has taken his place. And Vesar could not defend the play after that initial contact. It's a 10-0 run for Duke. And the Blue Devils have 12 of their 18 points, Jay, in the paint.
Carolina trying to set a little low cross screen for Caleb Wilson, and Malik Brown just gave him a shot before he could come off that screen. And Brown, whenever he's in the game, he's going to be guarding Caleb Wilson. He's going to try to be as physical as possible with him.
One of the nation's best defensive players, Brown. Second year with Duke after a couple of years at Syracuse. Tough shot in the corner, but he hits it. Caleb Wilson is on the board.
That's what Caleb Wilson is capable of doing, making the difficult play look easy. That was not an easy shot.
So Wilson scores, Cam Boozer still hasn't scored, and Duke's got an 11-point lead. A touch for him out near the three-point line, and he draws the foul on Wilson. I don't know that there's anybody craftier in the college game at drawing fouls than Cameron Boozer.
Wilson needs to take one more step toward the baseline. He had Stevenson there to come double and help him, and if he forced him the other way, he could have forced him right into Stevenson. Good shot fake, got hit, and still was able to make that shot.
Into Boozer again. Stevenson on him now. Wilson shifted over to Brown. And a travel called on Boozer.
Well, that's the exact same move we showed on College Game Day today. That middle drive and then a little up fake step through. They called it a walk right there, but usually what Cam Boozer likes to do is use that move and get body contact.
Cam Boozer third in the nation in scoring, 23.3 points per game. This is Kyan Evans, the transfer from Colorado State, who was the starter until a couple of weeks ago, now coming off the bench. Oh, look at that move by Wilson.
He can score off the unscripted plays. His footwork, his motor, impeccable.
Caleb Foster, a little stop and go, and he banks it in.
Caleb Foster is most difficult to contain when he's on that right-hand drive.
Evans at the point, Caden Boozer on him. The screen from Wilson. Stevenson, he'll take the three, but not here.
Well, he had a great game against Virginia at 17 in that one.
All in the last 13 minutes of the game. Again, Wilson slips inside, and he draws a foul on Brown to take us to a timeout here at the Smith Center.
Well, Caleb Foster showing some life for North Carolina after he knocked down that turnaround jumper. That set up these other moves that he's been making. A terrific up and under to get to the bucket, and Caleb Foster answers with that strong right-hand drive off the glass. Well, Duke has an 11-point lead early in this first half, and Cameron Boozer hasn't taken a shot yet. When he's caught the ball off the lane on the right side, Carolina comes with a double. He dribbles out of it and just sails a pass out of bounds. Then the next time when the double comes, you see a great cut by Patrick Gungba, and then he passes out of it. They swing it, and Dame Sarr gets an open shot in the corner. And in just 8 minutes and change, Duke's not only 9 of 11. North Carolina has not grabbed a single rebound in this game. Duke's missed a couple of shots. They've gotten both of those shots with offensive boards. Carolina's credited with one rebound, but it's a team rebound, which meant it went out of bounds, and they get it back. So they've not corralled a rebound yet in this game.
Duke 9 of 11 from the floor, and again getting to the rim, getting to the paint time and time again. 15 points in the paint for the Blue Bulls. As Wilson, and we could see it and hear it during the break, was extremely vocal in the Carolina huddle. He's at the free throw line. We talked to Coach Davis about Wilson yesterday, and he said there is no player in the country, in his opinion, who is the combination of great player, great person, great teammate, as much Caleb Wilson. And then Hubert Davis, the nicest man in America, said, and I'll fight anybody if they disagree with that. Nicholas Hemenya trying to go coast to coast. Loose ball tipped up and in, and Cam Boozer's got his first points.
Boy, Cam Boozer, who inbounded the ball, ran right down the middle of the floor. Nobody turned to box him out to get that tip in. What a tremendous catch by Patrick Gungba.
Wilson with Boozer on him. They know each other well. Again, AAU teammates in the summer of 24. Contested jumper goes for Caleb Wilson.
Caleb Wilson has that look in his eye where he's saying, get me the ball every time down.
Seth Trimble had the first 5 for the Heels. Wilson's got the last 8. And that has brought the crowd back into it with a vengeance.
Got a switch now. Boozer's got a matchup advantage.
Hemenya, that may have been a lob pass into Boozer, but he turned around and wasn't expecting it. Powell for 3. And here come the Heels back within 6. Evans fighting his way around a screen, and Cam Boozer called for the offensive foul.
Caleb Wilson, his footwork is excellent. Just that one step backs up Boozer and allows him to take that shot over. And his explosiveness is beyond impressive.
They're 4 for their last 4, and Wilson has 3 of those. Bogovats averaging better than 13 a game his last 3. Can't quite get into the paint. Now back out to Evans with 10 on the shot clock. Wilson for 3. And Carolina is right back in this game. Two-man game, Foster and Gungba. Foster probing. And a foul against the Blue Devils.
They got Boozer with a push in the back on Caleb Wilson.
And it's number 2 on Cameron Boozer with 9:33 remaining in the first half.
Boy, Boozer gets a screening foul up top, and then just with that left hand pushing Caleb Wilson in the back when he had inside position. He's the easiest to guard when he's sitting on the bench. That's a big play.
Foul trouble has not been a frequent thing for Cam Boozer this year. We'll see how John Shire plays it with a ton of time left in the first half.
Now Malik Brown back on Caleb Wilson. Brown's been physical with him, but he's got 2 fouls as well.
That's right. Missed shot, and Brown down with a rebound. Gungba the screen. Lost it, but it's out of bounds off Powell. Still Duke ball.
Trying to play with Patrick Gungba in that little short roll situation, but North Carolina had a lot of bodies between him and the basket and active defensively, and that's what the Tar Heels need to do. They need to be physical on defense and sustain it throughout the possession.
Hubert Davis says he'll take his chances offensively with this team against just about anybody, but if they're going to be really, really good, it's about defense and rebounding for Carolina. Corner 3 won't go for Powell. Duke ball.
Well, you like the aggressiveness of Powell, though. He had 12 points against Syracuse, knocked down 3 of 4 from 3. That gives them another weapon that can stretch the defense.
That was his second highest scoring game of the season. Sarr thought about it.
Great recovery by Seth Trimble on that drive attempt.
Gungba wide open, misses the 3. He's 29% on the season from out there. Trimble soaring to the rim and draws a foul.
It looked like that was going to be a walk it up scenario, but Hubert Davis was like, go, man. And Seth Trimble really did. Like, he's the engine of Carolina's transition game. So strong and athletic. A response by North Carolina. They were down and have made quite a comeback to get within 1 possession.
And now Boozer on the bench with 2 fouls. Duke led by as many as 13. And if you're having fun watching this one, don't go anywhere after this one is done. There's more college action coming your way. Tennessee and Kentucky. Remember, Kentucky coming from way down in Knoxville to beat the Vols a few weeks back. And then Houston and BYU. The Cougars, the BYU Cougars, that is, have lost 3 in a row, Jay. So this is going to be a big test for them in Provo against Kelvin Sampson's team.
And Kentucky going with those denim uniforms that they wore back in 1996 under Rick Pitino when they won the national championship. Mark Pope was on that team. Those things are so cool.
Duke's lead down to 2. Gungba one-on-one with Vessar. Wild shot, not close. And it is ruled Duke basketball with 7:47 to go and a timeout on the floor. A very slow start for the Tar Heels, Jay, but then Caleb Wilson got going.
Well, Caleb Wilson has been outstanding, making great individual plays. That's helped the Tar Heels pick up their defense. Well, Caleb Wilson has 11 points in this game. He's 4 of 5 from the field. And when he gets the ball down low, you know that Hubert Davis is saying, go to work. And that's exactly what he's done. And in addition to these amazing plays he's made on the left side, North Carolina's spacing is excellent. They get in a high-low, and he just knocks down the three when Cameron Boozer gives him that room. He's a confident player that is looking to dominate.
Without question, looks like a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. You could say the same for Cam Boozer. We saw Darren Peterson and A.J. DeBonsa last week. Caleb Wilson will sit. Cam Boozer, with 2 fouls, is back in the game. So John Shire has decided that he will trust, and maybe needs to trust, Boozer to get him back in the game with 2, given the way that Carolina has turned this one around in recent minutes.
And North Carolina needs to go at him. You don't have to change entirely what you do, but when you've got an opportunity to put him in a ball screen and go at him, you have to do it.
Sarr, and a foul on Kyan Evans.
Well, Dame Sarr just set a little up screen for Cameron Boozer. And Kyan Evans and Jaron Stevenson, they're so worried about Boozer. The screener is open, just shaping up back to the ball.
So Sarr at the line for a couple. Tomorrow afternoon, we have a great women's college basketball matchup for you on ABB. Number 19, Tennessee. Number 3, South Carolina. Coverage tips at 3 Eastern. Not the SEC on the women's side. How loaded that conference is, with 4 of the top 7 ranked teams in the.
Well, Dawn Staley done such an amazing job at South Carolina. Little diamond fee, and you get Caleb Wilson with the ball on the right side this time against Patrick Gungba.
Gungba, a good defender. Wilson kind of fading, but draws a foul and has earned a trip to the line.
Well, with that pivoting that he does to create that space, Patrick Gungba did as good a job as you can do to keep him away from the rim, but he just used that right arm. You know, make him take the tough fadeaway, but the one thing you cannot do is foul here. And you see with the right hand hitting Caleb Wilson as he's trying to go up. Goes on the season and in ACC play than their opponent's attempt.
But the foul issues tonight belong to John Shire's team. Boozer's got 2. Brown has 2. That is 2 on Gungba. So really those 3 rotate at the 2 forward center spots, and all 3 of them have 2 fouls here in the first half.
A 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure.
Tipped. Carolina ball. Wilson and Boozer 1-on-1. And an air ball. Wilson well short on that corner jumper. Got the handoff to Sarr. Another turnover. Trimble comes up with it.
Beautifully read by Trimble.
And beautifully read by Gungba the other end.
Boy, Gungba, one of the best big man defenders in the country.
Duke defending at an extremely high level in recent games. Boozer with the left, and he'll go.
He can score with either hand around the basket. Seth Trimble came over from the weak side to take away that right hand. He just went to his left.
4 points now for Boozer. Duke by 3. Powell, no. Got it back, lost it. And here come the Blue Devils. Foster. Sarr is wide open and gets the bounce. A long corner 2 for Dame Sarr.
A terrific job by Sarr to run the floor and get in that deep corner to try to flatten out the Carolina transition defense.
Sarr looked like he was kind of laughing at himself, Jay, on his way back up the court. It's the second time he's tried to take a 3, but has had a 2 on the line. 2 on the line. Wilson with an attempt for a powerful slam and is heading back to the line.
And another foul on Patrick Gungba. Beautiful high-low. And first it was Dame Sarr that had to pick up Caleb Wilson, and Gungba had to come over to try to stop that dunk. Nice little throwback to get the high-low, and Dame Sarr needed to just fight him down there, try to get around in front.
So Gungba has to sit with 3. Malik Brown, who's got 2, comes back in. And John Shire just hoping somehow they can get through the rest of the first half without Brown or Boozer picking up another foul.
You know, aside from Caleb Wilson making some of his individual plays below the foul line extended, Carolina's having success running offense out of the middle third of the floor.
Wilson potentially on his way to a huge night. He's got 15 points already. Evans wide open as the Blue Devils broke the pressure perfectly.
Well, they did a great job of not getting the ball around midcourt where they could get trapped.
Evans averaging 17 a game in ACC play. Step back jumper won't go for Jaden Young, who had been starting in recent games, the transfer from Virginia Tech. Foster pulling his way into the paint, but he missed it. Dixon backs it back out. Boy, good hustle play there by Malik Brown, who leads the team in deflections and again is one of the best defensive players at any position in America.
Well, Duke averages about 19 deflections a game, and even though Malik Brown only plays about 20 minutes per game, he gets 5.5 deflections per game. That was his 121st deflection on this season.
Duke led by as many as 13 early, then Caleb Wilson got going. He's got 15 of their last 19 points. Dixon a step back 3. Vessar the rebound.
And talk about rebounding out of your area.
And out of bounds off Young to turn it over to the Blue Devils.
Boy, that was great hands by Isaiah Evans. Used that left hand just to knock that ball off of Jaden Young and went out of bounds on the baseline.
So Carolina had been red hot, but they have now cooled off. Bogovats will turn for the Heels. Stevenson as well. Caden Boozer back on the floor now for Duke.
Well, Jaren Stevenson is going to take Cameron Boozer now with Vessar out of the game.
Line drive 3 won't go for Evans.
Boy, really good block out by Stevenson.
Brown on Wilson. Bogovats into the paint. Uses the shoulder to create the space and gets it back. Count it as he knocks down a 3.
What a great pass out by Stevenson. When Carolina gets a ball reversal and then attacks, their offense is much better.
The third 3 of the game for the Heels. Duke's made 1. And now Trimble thought he had a clean turnover, but is called for the foul. 3:53 to go. It's Duke and Carolina here at the Smith Center in Chapel Hill. It is intense as you would expect. It just means a little bit more. Duke and Carolina.
It's the best rivalry in all of American sport.
It's too hard. What a game. And a foul. Carolina's won it. Watch out. He took a shot to the face. And the blood is coming out. Unbelievable.
They got a foul. They don't. Anderson slams it home.
Because it's ridiculous how good this is.
A rivalry unlike any other in college basketball. That guy knows a thing or two about it. Tyler Hansbrough doing some radio on the Tar Heels radio network tonight. 87 prior ranked matchups all time between these two. Carolina 44, Duke 43, because of course it's that close. You saw Roy Williams watching from his seat across the court from us here at the Smith Center. And again, for people who missed it earlier, that's more than twice as many ranked matchups as any other rivalry in college basketball history.
Right now, Duke is having its way with North Carolina in the paint and on the glass. Duke has more than doubled up Carolina in rebounds, and they are dominating inside the paint. 18-4 in paint points in this first half.
And they've got 3 freshmen on the court in this game right now. Cameron Boozer, Caden Boozer, Dame Sarr, another stellar recruiting class for John Shire. Paul Biancardi, who does such a great job as the director of recruiting for college basketball at ESPN, tells me another great class coming in next year, including Cameron Williams, a 6'11" forward from Phoenix. I mean, think back to your first time playing in this building as a freshman. No, you were a senior in this building, right?
Yeah, played the first game in here.
The first game in here as a senior. But what do you remember about your first game at Carmichael at the prior building for Carolina as a freshman?
That Michael Jordan was good.
He's not the best in the business for nothing, folks. Your heart beat a little bit quicker, the layup line before that first game.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Carmichael was a magnificent place to play. One of the best arenas in the country.
In and out for Bogovac. And Malik Brown comes up with it.
Boy, Bogovac had that offensive rebound come right to him. He needed to go after that harder. He waited for it to get to him instead of going after it.
I think as a shooter, too, he was kind of looking at the ball for a little bit longer to see if it went in. And maybe because of that, got a late start for the rebound. Boozer blocked by Wilson. And it will be Duke ball, says Bill Covington Jr.
He's saying it went off the head of Luka Bogovac, and Bogovac is saying, hey, let's take a look at this one. Terrific block from the backside by Caleb Wilson. That started the break, and there hasn't been much transition in this one. Nice little step-through move, but sent back by the freshman from Atlanta, Georgia.
Wilson leads the Heels in scoring, rebounding, steals, and blocks. Boozer leads the Blue Devils in scoring, rebounding, steals, and assists. Both of them remarkable talents. That time Sarr made sure he was behind the line, so give him 3.
Well, it's so hard for Derek Dixon to try to have to stop that drive and recover to a corner shooter.
And Duke has kind of stemmed the tide here in recent minutes and extended the lead back to 8. Bogovac still going. Vesar can't tip it in, and Henry Vesar, who averages 16 and 9, has no points and 2 rebounds in this game. That'll have to change for Carolina to win it.
Duke keeps the spacing and floor so spread. You get these cuts. Trimble with another foul on a cutter, having to peel switch off. All right, take a look at Sarr, Dame Sarr right here. And on this drive by Isaiah Evans down lane line, Derek Dixon has to help off and then recover to a corner shooter. That's just too much space. You'd rather have Isaiah Evans take a tough 2 over Seth Trimble than give a wide open 3 to Dame Sarr in the corner.
How about as Trimble sits with his second, how about the half that Sarr is having? 4 for 4 from the field, 10 points, 5 rebounds, and a very good defensive player as well. Boozer threw a lot of traffic, threw up a prayer, wanted a call, didn't get it.
Well, they've thrown a lot of bodies at Cameron Boozer.
But he'll wind up with a 3, and all of a sudden, Duke is back out to a double-digit lead.
What Duke has done best is keep North Carolina out of transition. It's been mostly a half-court game, and that's advantage Duke.
Stevenson to Wilson. The pull-up from 17. Has he got game or what?
He's got everything.
He's keeping Carolina in this one. He's got 17 of their 29. Boozer spins on Vesar, but it won't go. Vesar, though, had it roll off his fingertips, so it is still Duke ball. Coming up on the Jeep halftime report. Highlights from this one. You can see Reese and the guys getting ready, getting their game faces on. And also, well, Reese needs a little more help getting that game face on. And number one, Arizona. They opened up a can on Oklahoma State today. We're going to be in Tucson next week. Texas Tech will be there. Game day will be there. How much fun is that going to be? This has been a great day. Lots to talk about for Reese and the guys on the Jeep halftime report. You know, let's go back to the early foul trouble. Boozer sat with 2, Brown sat with 2, Gungba picked up his 3rd, and John Shire trusted his senior in Brown and his freshman in Boozer to play without picking up a 3rd foul here in this half, and they have rewarded that trust. Caden Boozer knocks down a 3.
Boy, what a great screen by Malik Brown. He screened Jaron Stevenson so he couldn't get out of that double and get to Caden Boozer.
It was down to 1. It's now a 12-point lead. We're back in 30. Welcome back. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Chris Budden. Let's take a look now at our McDonald's All-American Spotlight. And maybe not surprisingly, Jay, these two programs are 1-2 in America in all-time McDonald's All-Americans.
Well, you don't have all these banners that there are in the Smith Center Cameron Indoor Stadium without great players. And both Duke and Carolina have had some legendary ones.
And by the way, there are 143 banners in this building, and every single person, when they walk into the Smith Center for the first time, they immediately look right where our camera is pointing right now, and those banners sure get your attention.
Mesmerizing. Just the history of this program is remarkable.
John Shire took Cam Boozer out for the final 30 seconds of the half to make sure he didn't pick up a 3rd.
Dame Sarr's pressure on the point guard position has really helped change this game defensively for Duke.
Final possession of the half to the heels. Dixon. Deflected. Duke has it. And Carolina will not get a shot off at the end of the half as Duke finishes the half on an 18-7 run to take a 12-point lead into halftime. The Heels had gotten a 13-point deficit all the way down to 1, but it's the Blue Devils leading by 12 midway through. Chris Budden is with John Shire.
Caleb Wilson has basically been their entire offense. What do you need to limit him in the second half?
Well, I mean, look, give him credit. He's hit some really tough shots. I think we weathered the storm. I'm not sure you can do a whole lot more about those shots. I think overall, you know, holding them at 29 points is pretty good. I mean, we'll look at it at halftime, but you got to give them credit. They're going to make some shots.
How do you manage Gungba and Boozer in the early fouls that they picked up moving forward in the second half?
Well, it wasn't ideal. I mean, obviously, all 3 of our guys have 2 fouls. Pat's got 3. I thought we did a great job just weathering the storm, still playing. You know, we want to play our guys even with foul trouble, and then we can't come out like we got any fouls, though. So for them, they got to be smart. We need them in the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Cameron Boozer became a much bigger factor later in the first half despite the foul trouble. Winds up with 9 points, 4 rebounds in the first half. Caleb Wilson 17 points to lead all scores, but it's Duke by 12. Seth J. The Jeep halftime reports next.
Glad to have you with us on the Jeep halftime report. An impressive first half for Duke. The Blue Devils really control play in this game. Gungba misses. Cameron Boozer does not. He had 9 in the first half. Now, Caleb Wilson might have been the best individual player on the floor. In fact, he was. But he was the only thing North Carolina had going for them. He was the only one keeping the beat to the drum line behind for North Carolina to keep this from being a complete blowout. Boozer and his Duke teammates, very balanced attack, and Boozer staying in the game, Seth, was a big deal in your judgment.
Well, I thought John Shire going back to Ken Boozer with 2 fouls. You're talking about an 18-year-old freshman saying, played in this big game on this stage, I trust you to be smart, defend without foul, and still impact game. That's number one. But Duke's perimeter defense, Kellerson was dominant. I think they should double him, but their perimeter defense dominated the game. Wilson goes for 17, the rest of the team for 19. That perimeter defense made a statement.
Yeah, Duke's defense is what does it. And they play a certain way with how they defend on the perimeter. But look, the reality of this game comes down to...
That's a great...
No, you see right here, they can't, Billis mentioned in the first half, they couldn't turn the corner on a drive when they tried to get it in the paint. And really their only offense was Kevin Wilson.
My thing is, this game comes down to Gungba had 3 fouls. Carlos Boozer had 2 fouls. Malik Brown had 2 fouls. North Carolina stopped pushing the ball down low to the block. I mean, Caleb Wilson has 17 points, but he didn't touch the ball for 4 or 5 minutes in the first half when he was on his run. That's what Carolina has to do. Look, when there's blood in the water, Seth, you have to keep punching the ball down low. Their guards can't get, lured with taking these wild shots from the perimeter.
I totally their defense. When Carolina was getting stops, now the ball's coming down, not in transition in terms of advantage, disadvantage, but now Duke's got to get matched up. You let Caleb Wilson catch the ball on the left side of the floor, left block, he's going to score. They need to get the ball to him on the left side. If he gets the ball on the left side, if you're not going to double him, he's going to find a way to get score or get fouled. He got the whole Duke front court in foul trouble.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and they went away from it. So when Carlos Boozer, the national front-runner for Player of the Year, has 2 fouls, you keep attacking. And this is where I get Caleb Wilson's a freshman retired, but Bogovac, Dixon, these guys start taking shots from the outside or ill-advised shots instead of Carolina basketball is punch the ball down low. I give Duke all the credit in the world because the way they handle playing in foul trouble is critical to why they have the lead.
Well, these guys have kept a lot of rhythm behind us, but North Carolina has had any rhythm. They need to get something from Henry Vessar in the second half. He has not scored, only has a couple of rebounds. And you know what? If this is the way that North Carolina is going to play the rest of the way, I'd let Caleb Wilson get 40 because Carolina might only wind up with 55 at the end of it, the end of the night. 8.5 until the second half starts. Duke's up big at the break.
This halftime report is presented by Jeep. There's only one. This halftime report is presented by Jeep. There's only one.
Halftime continues here. Look at Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles taking on Southeast Missouri State. And this is Luke Almodovar. Thank you very much.
Oh, my Lord.
Baptizing the masses. He had 21 points. I don't care. He had 2 on that dunk. That was fantastic. Oklahoma State and Arizona. Oklahoma State got dunked on by Arizona throughout the game. Koa Pete tipping it back in. Wildcats remain undefeated.
Arizona was plus 24 on the boards and beat them up in paint. 54 points to 12 for Oklahoma State. What? Dominant.
Tommy Lloyd's team has Kansas coming up. Kansas took on Utah this afternoon. 12-point lead for Rock Chalk. Uh-oh.
Showtime.
Well, I will not for Luke Almodovar of Southeast Missouri. I'd say, wow, Darren Peterson.
This is the plays that you only see on Saturday night in the NBA. Knockdown shots, active defensively, and gets to the rim.
All right, so you saw that Kansas has Arizona coming up on Monday night. We've got a second half coming here from Chapel Hill. What does North Carolina need to change if they're going to get back in the game here?
I think offensively, you're going to play through Wilson, but when they send a double, they got to play out of it. They got to find a way to get out in transition, and Vasor's got to get involved in this game and take some pressure off of Wilson.
Well, they need to get stops in order to get out in transition. That's when they're the best. And look, if Wilson needs to go for 40 tonight, you play through him. I think he should try to get a touch. Hubert Davis talked about posting, throwing it out, and reposting. I think North Carolina has to try to beat Duke up down low, and that starts to get in their bigs and foul trouble.
I'd start the second half if I was John Sharp, getting that ball to Boozer right on the block, drawing a double or scoring it, because they're doubling them, play out of that double, but get them the ball.
Well, you're going to be doing some shots too for North Carolina.
Well, you guys talking about getting out in transition. North Carolina's getting doubled up on the boards, 22-11. Duke shooting 53%, and they have a double-digit lead, but we've seen teams rally again, and we may see it from the heels in the second half. This has been the Jeep Halftime Report.
The North Carolina Tar Heels heading back out onto the court for the second half. It's the visiting Duke Blue Devils who have a 12-point lead. They were up 13. Carolina got it down to 1, but then Duke finished strong. Cameron Boozer really got more involved, played several minutes with 2 fouls in the first half, didn't pick up the third, hit a 3, winds up with 9, 4, and 2 in the first half. The only reason why the Tar Heels are anywhere close to being in this game is a magnificent first half from Caleb Wilson. He's got 17 of their 29 points, 5 of 7 from the floor, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. We welcome you back inside the Smith Center. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. What did Duke do so well the last 7-8 minutes to pull away?
They dominated a couple of key areas throughout the first half. First, they dominated the paint. They outscored Carolina 18-4 in the paint. Duke shot 53%, Carolina 33%. And then I thought they dominated the glass. I mean, they doubled them up on the glass. In fact, Duke's guards had more rebounds in the first half than Carolina's front court. Like, Carolina has got to get stops, and they got to get to the glass if they want to win this game.
Let's see what each team needs to do for a better outcome. Brought to you by T. Rowe Price.
Well, the great news for North Carolina was Caleb Wilson was absolutely spectacular in that first half. Cameron Boozer made a move. Caleb Wilson erased it. He had 17 points in the first half. He and Trimble were 7 of 10 from the field. The rest of the Tar Heels 2 of 17. But Duke able to get into the paint, draw help, and then play out of it. Cameron Boozer got off to a slow start scoring, although he's drawing a lot of attention. But watch here, Duke's going to set a screen, just slip it right to the basket. You're worried about the fade screen. Instead, they give up an easy layup. Not enough pressure on the ball. But Carolina's got to do a better job on the glass. They've got to tighten up defensively and protect the paint.
Moments ago, Chris Budden spoke with Hubert Davis.
Coach, what do you need to open up offensively outside of Caleb?
Well, they were just tougher than us in the first half. I told the guys every 50-50 loose ball that was up in there on the ground, Duke got every one of them, and that's just going to have to change. And we talked yesterday at practice. It's just, defense and rebounding. Those are the 2 boxes that have to definitively be checked for us to get back in the game, and I believe we can, and I believe we will.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
As per the story we relayed in the first half, Hubert Davis likes his team's offense, but talked about defense, rebounding, toughness, 50-50 balls. He is certainly getting everything, Jay, he could ask for out of Caleb Wilson.
And Caleb Wilson is not making easy shots. He's making tough ones. He got one-on-one coverage, and Cameron Boozer made him take a tough shot over him, but he made it yet again.
When Hubert Davis talks about talking to his team yesterday, as Wilson comes up with a steal, they had former players like Raymond Felton, Theo Pinson, Justin Jackson, talk to the players about what it means to play at this institution. Hubert said more than what it means to be specifically in this rivalry.
Patrick Gungba, who doesn't get near the credit he deserves for being an outstanding defender, made a great play on the other end after Caleb Wilson got that steal and Carolina got out in transition.
If you're Carolina, don't you have to get Henry Vester going somehow?
Yes.
A very quiet first half for a very good player having a big season for the Heels. Wilson drives and hits again.
What a jab step. He took a jab step right to his right and then went left, got all the way to the bucket. What a big-time offensive play by Caleb Wilson.
Tipped away by Trimble, but it's going to be a foul call, and that'll be number 3. And Trimble is pleading with Hubert Davis, don't take me out of this game.
Well, it was all because of his right arm. He had it on the waist of Caleb Wilson. There, see that right arm? Just right around his waist, and Ron Gruber right on the baseline and could see every inch of that.
If Hubert Davis will trust anybody to play with fouls, it'll be Trimble. But now Caleb Foster got open in the corner and knocks down a three, and the lead is back to 11.
Foster did a great job of using Cameron Boozer as a screener to be able to shoot behind him.
Trimble underneath the kick. Stevenson in the corner. And Boozer the rebound. Nice outlet to Sarr.
Boy, Sarr had a fabulous first half. 10 points, 5 rebounds, and his defense was outstanding.
Did not miss a shot from the field. 4 for 4. Cameron Boozer a good look, but he misses the three. Ball screen to Vessar. Trimble. Turnaround. Yes.
Boy, Seth Trimble so good snaking that ball screen and then just pivoting into that turnaround jumper over his right shoulder.
Wilson's got 21. Trimble's got 8. The rest of the Carolina team only 6 points in this game.
They've had some open shots, just missed them.
Boozer, no. Vessar the rebound.
And that's where Vessar can be so helpful defensively. He's tough to shoot over.
Stevenson could not get it over the rim. And here comes Boozer. Numbers for the Blue Devils. Right into the chest of Vessar for the finish.
When he gets going downhill, it's like trying to stop a truck. He goes right into your chest, knocks you back, and creates that space so he can get the shot up with the left hand.
Now 11 points, 6 rebounds for Cameron Boozer.
Good pass.
Stevenson open again, and this time he buries it.
And when Carolina plays inside out, they can get some good things. And that was a beautiful pass by Vessar out to Stevenson in the corner where he made a living at Alabama.
Gungba playing with 3 fouls, had to sit a lot late in the first half. Looking for help. Evans corrals it. Boozer way too long on the 3. Crossover Trimble. Cutting is Stevenson. And missed a 6-footer from the paint.
Boy, that's deflating. Carolina had a Duke on the run in transition defense, came away with nothing.
Carolina does not have a fast break basket in this game, and the big night continues for Dame Sarr.
Duke able to get the ball from a skip pass from one side to the other and beat the shift of the Carolina defense.
Sarr has had his up and downs this year, has struggled sometimes offensively, but this is the best of Sarr here in this game. Trimble, follow, and a foul on the Blue Devils. Is that Boozer?
It's Gungba. Look.
Oh, it's Gungba. You're right. It is Gungba who just picked foul number 4. 4:23 into the second half. Cameron Boozer right into the chest of Henry Vessar. He's into double figures now with 11. Sarr having a whale of a night for the Blue Devils, who have an 11-point lead. Let's take a look at our Wooden Watch presented by Principal.
Well, Duke's Cameron Boozer has a lot to his game. He is not just an interior player. He can step away and knock down a 3. He is an outstanding rebounder. And even though he's seen a lot of defensive attention in this game, didn't take a shot for the first 8 or 9 minutes of the first half. Cameron Boozer has 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 of them on the offensive end, and 2 assists. And he's been as productive as any player in the country. 11 double-doubles on the season. He's had 13 games of 20 points or more and leads the ACC in both scoring and rebounding. He's 4th in steals and field goal percentage.
The consistency is almost as impressive as the talent in the overall numbers. We were talking about it earlier. Like, there's no such thing as a bad game for Cameron Boozer.
Yeah, what's his worst game? 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. For a lot of freshmen, that's their best game of the year. That's his worst.
Seth Trimble at the line. So remember, the last foul before that timeout went on Patrick Gungba, and it's number 4 on him here early in the second half. Trimble now into double figures with 10. So it's Boozer and Malik Brown in the front court now for the Blue Devils.
Vesar guarding Boozer.
Evans gets free, a little strong on the mid-range jumper.
Vesar switching off on Isaiah Evans, then getting back to the rim to grab that rebound.
Vesar still has not scored in this game.
Well, he's got Caleb Foster on him now. He needs to get the ball.
He is calling for it. He gets it, draws a crowd and hits.
Boy, what a great catch. And went right over Boozer off the glass.
The transfer from Arizona leads the ACC with 12 double-doubles on the season.
Carolina needs to stay between their man and the basket here so they don't give up a slip on these screens.
Stevenson switches on to Boozer. Turnaround, no. Carolina ball.
Boy, good defense by Stevenson. What a pass.
And it'll go for Stevenson. Dixon the assist, and it's down to 5. Evans shot fake, drive, layup. More of a catch and shoot guy last year, and he can still drain a 3. But Jay, much more likely to take it to the basket this year than he was a season ago.
Well, he got Vesar to switch off because he slipped that ball screen, and Carolina going inside to try to challenge Cameron Boozer, and that's 2 in a row for Vesar. Well, this is where North Carolina, playing at home, needs a stop. And with Vesar guarding him, Boozer's going to be out top in the middle third.
Boozer driving and scores.
And he went away from the ball screen that was about to be set by Evans and went with that left hand. He's going to try to drive Vesar every opportunity.
Knocked away by Sarr. Numbers for Duke. No look to Boozer for the slam.
Boy, Dame Sarr, his ball has been excellent.
Wilson, it'll go. Up and down they go here at the Smith Center.
And give credit to Derek Dixon. Even after the made field goal, he gets it out and passes ahead.
Wilson averages 20. He's got 23 already tonight. The lob and the finish. Brown to Boozer.
Little back screen by Dame Sarr at the elbow. Wasn't communicated very well by North Carolina. They just throw over the top. Not enough pressure on the ball to discourage that pass.
And all of a sudden, Cameron Boozer's up 17 points. Another touch for Vesar. And he'll score again. He's got 6.
Turnabout's fair play. Just shoulder into Boozer's chest to create the space. And Vesar has become much more aggressive in this second half.
Boozer calling for it. Foster looking in there again. One-on-one, Boozer and Wilson. No double. Blocked by Vesar. Boozer again, and he'll finish.
He gets a lot of his own misses. That one was blocked, but still he's able to pivot around and get that to go.
Dixon, a lot of contact, but no call, and the bucket will go.
Boy, this game is getting physical, and Carolina is starting to match the physicality that they got in the first half from Duke.
Brown up top. There got to be some tired players. A long stretch without a whistle. Boozer, the shot fake and the kick. Foster's 3 won't go. Wilson fouled by Malik Brown, who picks up his 3rd.
A good push of the basketball in transition. Duke ran really good offense, just didn't make the shot, but Carolina much more aggressive in transition, at conversion, putting pressure on Duke's defense.
And how about Cameron Boozer, Jay, working hard, even after the shot is blocked, getting it back and finishing it off.
I just feel like it was really important to, learn about Carolina history and also just learn about African American history. Him kind of being one of the people who set the path for me to be able to play basketball at North Carolina and just being a legend, honestly, with the way he performed on the court. He was really just telling me he got buckets, honestly. So he was just telling me he got buckets, told me to look him up, and just typical OG talk.
Charlie Scott, the first African-American scholarship basketball player at North Carolina, a two-time All-American, a Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer, and Caleb Wilson, such an impressive young man, a 3.8 GPA. Hubert Davis told us yesterday, whatever team drafts him in the NBA, he is going to impact the city in which he is playing. He is going to change the city. Hubert Davis cannot say enough good things on and off the court about Caleb Wilson.
And he can play too. 23 points in this game. He's 8 of 10 from the field, and he hasn't had an easy shot yet.
Duke has led by as many as 13. Carolina has never led. It's a 7-point game right now.
Called for clear out.
With Boozer guarding him. Vessar is heated on the second half. Somehow found Trimble underneath, but he couldn't fish it. Carolina bench was hollering for a foul call, but they didn't get it.
Well, Carolina's shooting 70% in second half. They've been much more aggressive at both ends of the floor.
Knocked away. Carolina's got it. Trimble. And a foul.
With great deceleration by Seth Trimble to draw that foul on Isaiah Evans, and that pass into Boozer that was stolen by Caleb Wilson, just a poor angle to feed the post.
Chris.
John Shire in that last timeout sat down and he looked directly at Cam Boozer, challenged him. He said, I need you to step up defensively. What you've given us on offense is great, but the person that you have been all season for us is defense. I need you to step it up on that end. Then he looked at the rest of the team and said, they've had more points in the paint than they had the entire first half, 14 of them. I need you guys to guard.
And there are the numbers to support it. Chris, thank you very much. Definitely Carolina looks like they're playing harder, doing better on the glass, getting into the paint, doing some really important things much better in the second half than they did in the first half.
Well, they've had a hit first mentality in this second half that Duke put on them in the first. Better pressure on the ball in the second half for Carolina, made passes more difficult. Here comes the double.
Boozer, a terrific passer, but he turns it over. Trimble anticipated that beautifully.
He's like a free safety in reading the passer's eyes and then making that steal, and it's not the first one he's had in this game.
Evans. Off the rim and down to Boozer, and Duke running, led by Evans.
What an outlet.
What a block, and that's Trimble.
Boy, Seth Trimble just has an extra step on his ladder that most players. Explosive, especially off 2 feet. Beautifully timed.
He's now got 3 steals and that block, and remember, he was playing for several minutes with 3 fouls. He sits. Boozer, no. And it will remain Duke basketball.
Boy, what a block by Caleb Wilson. Took a shot in the chest, and he's able to get off the floor so quickly and block that with the left hand.
Evans wide open, and Carolina catches a break there.
Just inbounded, it came off a double stagger. He's not going to be more open than he was there.
Dixon needs some help. Still plenty of time. Bogavants. Wilson backs up, sizes up Boozer again. Into the paint. Blocked from behind by Evans.
Nice job by Boozer to stay in front of Caleb Wilson to make him take a really tough shot so that a teammate could converge.
Caden Boozer. Too strong. Vessar, another rebound. Bogavants. Open. Cannot find the range here tonight.
Boy, those are the shots that just have to go down. Bogavants had a shooter in the corner, looked him off. They had a wide open look, just didn't go.
Came in here hot the last several games, just 1 for 7 from the floor tonight. Boozer for three, and he hits it.
Boy, just a pick and pop. And Bogovats had to switch to late getting there.
With everything else that he does well, he's a 6'9" forward who steps out and shoots threes at a 38% clip. Vesar the runner. Duke ball.
Boy, Duke is gang rebounding the defensive end. Nobody's leaving until they secure the ball. All 5 guys on the defensive glass.
Under 8 to go. Duke with the ball and a 9-point lead.
And they're going to continue with Boozer setting that screen up top. Got the switch again. Now he's got Bogovats on him.
Hayden to Cameron, brother to brother. Cameron to Boozer driving. No call. Ball still live. Evans. And down with it, Dixon for the Tar Heels. They have rarely been able to run tonight, and Dixon throws up a wild shot in transition that didn't come close.
Well, Carolina trying to be aggressive, but there was nothing there. Well, Duke really spreading the floor. Wide open middle, playing 5 out.
Caden Boozer. Bogovats the rebound. And out of bounds with 7:02 to go. It'll be Tar Heel basketball. A foul going against Duke to take us to this timeout. It's on Caleb Foster. Duke continues to lead here in this battle of the Blue Bloods in Chapel Hill. Blue Devils leading by 9.
Well, Duke's Cameron Boozer has been aggressive offensively in this second half, playing out of the middle third of the floor, able to go around Henry Vesar with that left hand, then in transition, running the floor, his footwork excellent, second effort plays and using his strength and agility to get around Vesar. Then as the screener picking and popping to the three-point line, he's knocked down 2 threes in this game, 9 of 18 from the field, 22 points, 9 rebounds. He does have 4 turnovers, but Cameron Boozer at some point is going to find an opening because he's just got so much skill and strength and will.
And even when it feels like he's not having a huge game, you look down and with 7 minutes to go, he's got 22 and 9. I mean, every single night he delivers for this Blue Devils team.
And he never seems to change expression. He just keeps playing through physicality. He delivers most of those blows himself.
And I think what we've seen tonight, Boozer has played like Boozer and Wilson has played like Wilson in this first matchup between these two teams this year. As Vesar, who's been huge in the second half for Carolina, he's now got 8 all the second half to get him back within 7.
Well, he's just going right after Gungba with those 4 fouls. But North Carolina needs a little more out of its guards. Outside to Seth Trimble, Carolina's guards haven't really gotten anything going on the offensive end.
Evans draws a crowd. Got Wilson in the air, but couldn't hit it. And the foul call is going against Duke, and Gumba is done.
Gungba trying to grab that offensive rebound, just went right over the top and picked up that 5th foul. And that's a big play to take his defensive ability away, just right over the left shoulder of Henry Vesar.
Played only 16 minutes tonight. He finishes with 4 points and 7 rebounds. Evans will come out as well. Foster returns.
Boozer will take Caleb Wilson.
John Shire basically has used 7 players tonight. Jimenez only played a little bit, and Darren Harris hasn't played at all. And now Gungba's out of the game. Wilson one-on-one with Brown.
Now remember, he's got great hands.
Sarr knocks it away. Shot clock at 7. Dixon got it. And it's a 4-point game.
Wilson on Boozer. Got the switch.
Gave it to Foster. Shot clock running down. Brown hoists a three, and Vesar's got it for Tar Heels. Knocked away by guess who? Malik Brown. It's a scrum, and it's Duke ball. And Caden Boozer will lay it in, but give Malik Brown all the credit in the world for generating that play.
You show him the ball. His hands are so good. He's going to knock it away. We talked about it just a minute ago when he was guarding Caleb Wilson. You cannot show him the ball. The best hands defensively in the ACC of any big guy or any player, in my view.
There's Malik Brown, again, one of the best defensive players in the country. Duke hitting the floor. Sarr getting down on the deck. Caden Boozer the finish. Duke by 6. Let's revisit something in case you weren't with us right off the top of the show. The incredible rivalry that is between Duke and Carolina. Over the last 50 years, they have each won 5 national championships. They have each appeared in 15 Final Fours. And over the last 120 games, they have each won 60 times because, of course, they have. It is a special, special rivalry. Guys like Antoine Jamison know that. A lot of former Tar Heel stars are here at the Smith Center tonight, trying to see if home team can mount one last challenge, get over the hump, and try to take the lead for the first time tonight. SR. And a foul on Malik Brown. That will be number 4 on him.
Well, Caleb Wilson came up to set a little 4-5 ball screen in the middle of the floor, and Vesar just rejected it to his left and tried to spin. Malik Brown almost knocked it away, but got called for the foul. So going into a lot of bodies there.
Boozer now on Wilson. Cameron Boozer picked up 2 fouls in the first 11 minutes of the game. Hasn't picked up any fouls since. Vesar. And not a lot Brown could do playing with 4.
Well, Vesar just put his head down, got to the middle of the lane, and a great left-handed jump hook.
Double on Boozer. Cross court 3 for Sarr, too strong. Wilson's got it for the Tar Heels. Takes the contact, can't finish. And we have a held ball. Boozer tried to rip it away, but 2 officials blowing their whistle at the same time. The possession arrow does give it to Duke. And maybe, Jay, kind of another rush transition opportunity where the look is not the best.
It was not the best, but Carolina really trying to push the ball. They've got to stop now. They need another one.
Inside 4 minutes to go.
Now there's a switch. Trimble on Cameron Boozer trying to front him with Vesar behind.
Round 3. Offensive rebound. Boozer sticks it back in.
Well, that's asking a lot. Seth Trimble is a great player and really strong, but he's given up a lot of size to Cameron Boozer. And Duke, more second chance opportunities. Usually that's Carolina's thing, but they've been dominated on the glass.
Boozer now with 24, above his average. Pass deflected by Foster. 10 to shoot. Trimble knocks in a 10-footer, and again, it's a 4-point game. And we've got a timeout on the floor with 3:16 to go. Duke by 4 here in Chapel Hill. Well, we've talked a lot about these 2 outstanding freshmen, Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson. Boozer's on pace to be the highest scoring freshman in ACC history. He's got 24 to go with 11 rebounds tonight. Caleb Wilson's on pace to be the highest scoring freshman in North Carolina history. Is having a big night as well. He carried them in the first half. He's got 23 points on the night. Duke led the entire game. Carolina got it down to 1 briefly in the first half. This is the closest they've been in a long time in the second half. And to make note of this now, Jay, tell me how this may impact things. With 3:60 to go, amazingly, Carolina's only committed 1 foul here in the second half.
Well, it means they can be really aggressive defensively. I don't think you want to keep this 1 foul if you've got the opportunity. You don't want to give Duke anything easy, so they can be really aggressive. They just don't want to foul on a shot.
Evans could not get enough time to get a look at a 3. Inside 3 minutes to go. Sarr the extra pass. Foster the shot fake, drive, and the finish.
Boy, what a beautiful shot fake on the reversal in the corner. And that opened up that baseline drive, and Caleb Foster just went to the other side of the rim to avoid that shot getting blocked.
They'll run some offense through Vessar. Boozer so strong, stands him up, forces him to give it up. Dixon with a 3.
Boy, Duke had to switch it. Cameron Boozer just slow getting the Dixon. Now that's 2 threes he's hit late in this game, and Carolina showing some life. 1 possession down with 2 minutes to go.
Evans the drive on Stevenson, no, and Vessar another rebound. Hubert Davis leaping in the air as he goes out of play on the sideline. Vessar ties it. .68, a minute 20 to go. Boozer the drive, the spin, no!
Carolina has made a stand in the defensive end in this second half. They have been a different basketball team.
And they've hit 2 huge threes their last 2 times down the court. And Hubert Davis will call a timeout with 11 on the shot clock and 50.8 on the game clock. As the Tar Heels look for their first lead of the night here in the final minute of regulation. Vessar with a 3 to tie it up. Man, oh man, what a scene here at the Smith Center with Chris Budd and Jay Billis. I'm Dan Schulman. You know, there's a phrase you sometimes say about this rivalry. What is it again?
It always delivers.
And
Duke Carolina is delivering yet again. And with 11 seconds left on the shot clock and 50 seconds to go in regulation, Hubert Davis called a timeout to get his team on the same page. And you got to think they're going to go with some action that has Vessar and Caleb Wilson in it. They've had some success operating in that middle third of the floor. Vessar just hit that 3. I think you're going to see something similar here.
There was a time where there were those who thought, they don't make a whole lot of noise here in this building. That time is gone. This has been a sensational environment here tonight. And some former Tar Heels. You can see him there behind the Carolina bench having as much fun as anybody. They know better than anybody what it means to be in this kind of a game.
And remember, Duke has 6 team fouls in this second half. Carolina just 1. So any common foul by Duke, North Carolina is shooting free throws. So you can be aggressive, taking it to the basket and seeking out contact.
Into the hands of Trimble with now 7 on the shot clock. Driving Boozer. and it is off his leg and out of bounds to Duke.
Boy, Cameron Boozer just reached in after that crossover, reached in with the left hand and knocked it right off Seth Trimble, and it goes out of bounds off his leg. What a big play by Cameron Boozer.
And now John Shire wants a timeout with 39.4 seconds to go in regulation.
Now, late in the game when Duke played Florida earlier this season in a similar situation, Duke went with Isaiah Evans and Cameron Boozer in a screening situation where Boozer had the ball and then would get a screen from Isaiah Evans, and he would slip out of it to the three-point line. He knocked down that three, which turned out to really be the game winner against Florida.
Another amazing thing about a guy like Boozer, where you can use him as the ball handler in pick and roll situations.
Exactly. Great point.
And as you just said, only one timeout for Carolina. So if the Heels see something easy is coming for the Blue Devils, they got to make them earn it at the line. Carlos Boozer looking on, father of Cameron and Caden. Caleb Wilson had a monster first half, held in check a little bit more in the second half. It's been Henry Vessar who's been the big man on campus for the Heels in the second half. And Cameron Boozer putting up his typical numbers. He's now up to 24 and 11 in the game for Duke.
And this is the kind of situation, Dan, where a shot fake can be devastating. You have to stay down and be disciplined defensively.
Caleb Foster starts it off.
Got the switch now. Vessar guarding Boozer.
And there's a lot of wide open court right now. Boozer watching the shot clock. It's down to 6. Here he goes. Can't hit. Tipped into the hands of Trimble. Shot clock turned off. Timeout, Carolina. How about the defense by Vessar? Just to be big, Jay, without getting a foul.
Well, he stayed in front and made Boozer try to finish a tough one over him. And did not foul. Got the switch. He's on an island. And there was contact, but no call. And Roy Williams, how many times do you see that stance when he would get down?
That's right.
He doesn't get down as low as he used to.
Old Roy still fired up, though. It is tied at 68, and with the shot clock turned off, it will be North Carolina basketball with 10.6 seconds remaining in regulation. They have trailed by as many as 13. They were down 12 at the half. They have not led for a single second of this game.
And in this type of situation, Dan, with just under 11 seconds left in regulation, oftentimes it's not the initial shot, it's the offensive rebound. And Duke's guards have done a great job throughout the course of this game of helping to rebound, and it's got to be all 5 guys on the defensive glass when a shot goes up.
So ideally, does Carolina want to get the shot off with, say, like 3 seconds remaining?
Yes.
It'll be Jaren Stevenson to inbound. Boozer is on Wilson. Brown is on Vessar. Into Dixon. Boozer switches on to him. Dixon the kick. Trimble! Got it! And Carolina wins it! They have stormed the court here at the Smith Center. Is there a chance the officials may be looking at the monitor to see if there's any time that should be put back on the clock?
That's exactly what the officials are doing. And it's when the ball clears the net. What a tremendous pass by Derek Dixon to get it to Seth Trimble in that right corner. And there's still 0.4 to go. So they're going to have to clear this court. What an amazing play by Dixon to find Seth Trimble in the opposite corner and give Trimble credit. Hey, it's free Ben and Jerry's for everybody after that one.
And how in the world are they going to get all these people off the court if they are putting time back on the clock?
Most people don't know that the game's not yet over. They have to announce it.
They have now put .4 on the clock. You can see it above each basket. And now the announcement is being made that this game is not over yet. And somehow all of these folks are going to have to find their way back to their seats.
I may go out in the court and look for some loose change.
Well, a little bit of everything, including something you almost never see. But .4 back on the clock. This game not over yet. And Duke has a chance for a desperation heave.
A desperation heave. First, they got to clean the court. I mean, there's debris all over the court. And, you know, some people have spilled some beverages as well. Boy, what a play by North Carolina. And after getting dominated in the paint, dominated on the glass, the Tar Heels showed tremendous toughness in that second half, tightening up defensively, making everything difficult, getting out in transitions. I mean, they've led for .4 in this game.
That's what I was going to say. How unusual and remarkable is it that in a 40-minute game, they did not get their first lead of the night until the final second of regulation? Will it be enough to stand up? The last thing you want to do is foul anybody in the shooting motion from beyond the arc. I'm sure Hubert Davis talked about that. Duke will inbound, needing a three-pointer to tie.
Thank you.
Chris.
Yeah, by the time the players found out, they were already almost into the tunnel trying to get to the locker room safely. From where I'm standing, there are towels, there are mops, as equipment staff is trying frantically. There was crushed peanuts and water, everything on this court.
And Dan, your point about fouling, you're exactly right. You don't want to foul if it's some sort of controlled tip situation, but as far as the inbound's concerned, North Carolina doesn't have to worry about fouling because they've got 5 fouls to give.
Right. What a play by the freshman Derek Dixon to find Seth Trimble, who is shooting 41% from 3 in ACC games. And you can see that everybody, including your friendly play-by-play announcer, that the game was over at the time that ball went through the basket. But .4 correctly back on the clock. A great job by the officials and everybody working here at the Smith Center to clear the court. And let's see what John Shire has drawn up.
And Carolina doesn't have to worry about anything inside the arc.
Vessar is on the ball, trying to make life difficult on Caleb Foster.
You get a finger on the ball and the game is over.
Foster can run the baseline. The heave. And it's juggled by Evans, and now it's over. Their largest comeback win over Duke in 25 years in a game in which, remarkably, they did not lead until the final second of regulation. And I think this is our first double court storming in quite a while.
Well, what a tremendous effort by North Carolina in the second half. Derek Dixon made some great plays down the stretch. Those 2 threes, the magnificent find of Seth Trimble to hit the game winner. And Henry Vessar in the second half was fantastic. The toughness the Tar Heels showed to win this game when nothing seemed to be going their way.
They finished the game on a 9-0 run. done over the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds to beat Duke, to hand the Blue Devils just their second loss of the season. What a huge win for Carolina, and the resume the Tar Heels are trying to put together, and the celebration is on. Jay, it's going to be a scene on Franklin Street before long here tonight in Chapel Hill.
If they ever get there, why leave?
And in case you need more evidence, it just means a little bit more between these two teams in this rivalry, and they are savoring every bit of this victory right now here at the Smith Center. Let's go to Chris Budden.
I'm with the guy that hit the game winner, and the guy that's been talking about this matchup all week long said, take me into that shot and what you saw.
Working on it every day. They crowded in. Simple as that, knocked down the shot.
What was your reaction when it went in?
Disbelief, we had to get Duke. It's a rivalry. We got to get him the belt. We got to give him that belt. We got to give him that belt.
You've been a part of this one before. It's been 700 days since you guys beat Duke. What does this one mean?
It means everything. They whooped us last year. Flat out simple. They whooped us in every way possible. I made sure that they made sure that this game was for the University of North Carolina. Coach Davis, he did a really good job of saying that for us. But this game was for the it was for the University of North Carolina.
It wasn't hard for you to find motivation either. You talked about the recruitment and everything heading into this week. What does this feel like to knock them off?
It feels great, but it's always on to the next. I wanted to be a legend. Kept helping me with the baby winner, boy. You know how we get, baby. The best freshman I've seen in a long time.
Congratulations.
Seth Trimble was the only Carolina player who had played in this rivalry prior to this year. Fitting for the senior to knock down the game-winning three in the corner. And to his point about the rivalry, Duke beat Carolina 3 different times last year. How good must this feel to him? How about the poise, the composure of Derek Dixon, trying to drive and then somehow finding Trimble, who calmly buried a 3 that stands as the game winner, as Carolina beats Duke 71-68 in a game, again, in which they did not lead, not for one moment, until this shot went in with less than a second to go.
And a lot of heroes for Carolina. Derek Dixon with his play down the stretch, the freshman. And how about Henry Vessar? A goose egg, 0 points in the first half. He winds up with 13 points overall and 11 rebounds.
And old Roy's about as happy as anybody here at the Dean Dome, and that is saying something, because the party is on here on a Saturday night in Chapel Hill. What a game, what a night. For Jay Billis, Chris Budden, and our outstanding crew here at ESPN, I'm Dan Schulman saying thanks for watching. Carl, Jimmy, take it away.